For great ideas and practical tools you can start using tomorrow to grow your business and separate you from the competition, you've come to the right place. If you're into B2B marketing and sales, then welcome to the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. With over 60 and counting total years in the trenches of businesses small and large, they have a plethora of knowledge and experience that generate you more leads, capture more clients, ring up more sales. Well, doggone it, just make you more money. How about that? Always thought-provoking, yet dubiously entertaining. Please welcome to their respective microphones across 3 time zones, your co-ringmasters, the Dave Loomis, and not the rock star, Steve Miller.
Stratacution, that's my word.
Stratacution, I love that.
Stratacution. It's how to do it both.
You guys are gonna make me nuts with these combining words.
Oh, come on. Portmanteaus, you don't like those?
And we're live. Hey, everybody. It's Steve Miller, not the rock star, Kelly's dad, marketing gunslinger, and welcome again to another episode. And let's see if I can get it right for a change. The B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast.
That's it.
Which is rapidly gaining viewers and downloads. It's really is. It's actually been picking up steam the last couple of weeks, mainly because somebody decided to start promoting it. And if the other people would join, might help a little bit. But with me, and I'm sorry, Michelle, but you're third. Okay. So, so the guys go first. The old guys go first. Age before beauty. This is perfect age before beauty. So, is my cohort in crime, Mr. Voice himself, David Mayo Loomis. Mm-hmm. And like I say, better known as introduce yourself, sir.
The Dave Loomis.
The Dave Loomis. Thank you very much.
Yes, and happy to be here.
Yes, and I was commenting on how I love his shirt. It's a new shirt.
Ooh,
it is.
And you're nice.
I believe it's its debut online.
It is the online debut of this beautiful shirt. Little plug for Vineyard Vines. Vineyard Vines, folks. I am preppy. I told Steve that I was born with a blue blazer. And if I didn't have the blazer on, it would be a button-down shirt of some sort, maybe khakis, loafers, or boat shoes. Should I keep going?
I think that's
okay.
A good
So give the impression.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, and our third buddy who's on the scene with us here again, who was with us last time. And we introduced you to her last time, and as the title of last episode is, introducing Michelle. And had such a great time with her that I said, can you come back? And I said that before asking Dave if he actually really wanted her to come back. But so kind of.
Fortunately, I concurred. I think it's right. Hey, we had a great conversation going.
I went that direction. So Michelle,
welcome Michelle.
Back. Michelle from Michelle Jones from Creativate.
Correct. Yes. Thank you for having me back. I'm excited to be back.
Okay.
So
since you won last week's Jeopardy, give us some new information that we don't know about you. For our viewing audience. What don't we know about you?
You want it to be work related or personal related? Anything?
Yes.
Okay. I trained on the violin in classical music for 14 years, and I fiddled competitively 3 years.
Well, now don't they say
fiddle?
I have fiddled professionally my whole life.
What?
It has absolutely nothing to do with musical instruments. So anyway, so you fiddled.
I did.
That's
yeah.
tremendous.
Fairs and things like that. So
do you have a favorite genre? Is it classical or?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably my favorite to play. But I also, once you know how to read music and you start dabbling in other instruments. So at some point in time, I've played the piano, which I still play, flute, clarinet, guitar, viola.
Really? Did you know that I play the flute?
No, I didn't know that.
And the piano and the drums.
We've got a whole band here.
We do.
Well, you
Steve, what do you, Steve?
Yes, Steve.
Okay.
You know what? The instrument that I play, I don't think you can actually say that the name of it anymore because it's completely on PC.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Good. Are you guys willing for me to share this here?
I can't even guess what it might be.
It was
the timpani.
No, it was the Jew's harp.
Ah, okay. No, I don't think that's the name of it though.
Yeah. You know that.
Isn't that the name of it? I don't think that's on
PC. Google it. I don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not. There's nothing about it. I don't think that is bad. But that's what it's called.
Definitely not.
So I'm reluctant to tell. And it took years of practice and now I'm embarrassed by it.
No, anyway, that's too bad.
But before we jump into the topic, I also want to point out that our friend Mr. Voice, one of his best friends, plays the viola.
Cello. Dermot. Is that who you're talking about?
Yes.
Dermot
plays the cello.
Yes,
right.
He does.
I apologize. So I knew there was some kind of similar connection there. So the stringed instrumentes. And speaking of strings, I'm going to pull the strings and we're going to go in a different direction right now. We're going to talk about business. And what we're going to talk about today, which I think is a nice follow-up to our conversation with Michelle last time. And for those of you that don't know, basically, we have three different businesses. We're all separate business people. And those two guys are amazing. They're very successful. Every day they're texting me and telling me about how they just signed up a new client and stuff like that. I remember having a client a year ago or 2 years ago or something like that. That's about my business right now. But they are also collaborating on a new business called Rev B2B, Rev B2B.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Rev B2B, which I think is a really cool name for a business. And you guys have been, knocking it out of the park as far as I can see. But Dave, you pointed out something to me that I thought was a real smart thing that we should talk about the difference between strategy and tactics or execution. As you would say that, and what was interesting was that I actually was on the phone earlier today with a new client.
Really?
And we actually got it. We were in that conversation before you even had sent that to me. So I got to believe that you guys, like me, you have come across companies who, number one, they don't really get where the strategy, tactic, how those things work.
Right.
And in many, many cases, if not most cases, companies tend to be tactical driven and not strategy driven.
Right. And that's really a lot of the reason why all of us end up going to work with our clients because they need help with those, and they get a little lost in the weeds of the tactics. But even if we're hired for, oftentimes, and this is true of a couple of our clients right now, is that we are asked to do marketing strategy / planning, which by definition, is going to take a few months. That includes assessment, the strategy, and planning the tactics and things like that. But while that's going on, time is passing. Every day is going, and there's an actual business that is running at our client. and they may need to have a sounding board for just day-to-day tactics and execution. So that doesn't stop. So you can't say, oh, just don't do any marketing for a few months while we do the strategy and planning. And even if we weren't working with a client, there's internal people, there's listeners to our podcast who are in charge of this at their own companies. And they're probably expected to come up with the annual marketing strategy or plan too. And gosh, how does that get off of the back burner onto the front burner when you have about 15 fires to put out every single day? Mm-hmm. And to me, the answer is a word I just came up with called stratacution, which is very silly. Obviously, strategy plus execution.
I guarantee you, Michelle loves them.
Also known as a portmanteau. But really, this is the point that I was sort of making in teeing up this topic, which was how do any of us effectively create B2B marketing strategies and plans while simultaneously managing the day-to-day tactics and execution. And I have no idea, and I know you don't, Steve. So I think Michelle probably.
Yeah, I want Michelle to take the ball. But what I want to do for the three of us is put a little challenge here. Is that in the next 20 minutes, between now and then, I want each of us to have something solid that we are saying to people that they can take away.
Yeah, sure. That's good. We can even plus it. We can even plus it.
That's We will practice the idea, the idea, and then the plus. So I'll explain that to you later, Michelle. But Michelle, follow up on what Mr. Flute had to say.
Well, so as Dave was talking, I was thinking about first of all, we probably should define what strategy is and what execution is. And one of the ways I like to define what something is by starting out with what it's not. So I've seen strategy, for those of you who are listening, I'm doing the air quotes thing. Strategy.
Actually, she's only doing half the air quotes.
It was one air. Oh, there we go. I feel so much better.
Air quotes. Yeah. Strategy is not something that you do every 3 months, every quarter, every month. It's something that usually is a plan. It can be an annual plan. It can be 3 to 5 years, but it's not something that you're constantly revisiting it to make sure that you're executing upon it well. But strategy is not a constantly changing of directions and chasing all these different fires, and it changes every day. Dave and I see this a lot too, where especially when you work with wonderful people who are really creative visionaries, they have all these ideas and they want to do all the things at one time. It's not that. Another thing strategy is not is it's not everything. It has to be a few things that you're going to do well. It has to be those, if you use EOS terminology, your big rocks. It has to be a few things that you can then turn into some type of actionable plan. Execution a lot of times is more of the tactics. So you're then taking all the things, the huge goals that you set out for yourself or your company or your department. You're taking all of those big concepts and then you're turning them into your tactics or your execution, which is what your day-to-day stuff looks like. So I think that's an important thing to note, because I think I mentioned last time, it's surprising sometimes what you see at big companies and what big companies think strategy is, and it's not always.
So what is it? What is it, Michelle? What are the components of strategy? It's
the vision, and it's the longer term plan, the longer term goals. It's a lot of the who, what, and not necessarily as much of the how. And then you take that and then you turn that into tactics for how you're going to get there and how you're going to achieve. So it's like drawing out your map for where you want to go. You're not going to pick out the color of your car and fill it with gas and just jump in the car and be like, road trip, everyone. You're going to figure out, first you're going to go get a map. You're going to figure out how many miles per gallon you get. You need to figure out how far you're going to go. You need to figure out the direction you're going. You need to figure out who's in the car. You got to make sure you got the right people in there. And then you have to figure out your destination. And then the tactics is how you're going to get there.
Okay. From my perspective, I see strategy as being overly complicated. That companies tend to overly complicate it. Mm-hmm. This was the conversation that I had with my new client this afternoon, where they were showing me there on their webpage this broad vision, mission, values, all this stuff. From my perspective, that is really beating a dead horse. It's just too much. I try to keep it as simple as possible with my clients. I ask them, why do you exist? Mm-hmm. What is your purpose? Okay, if your purpose in life is what happens in the purpose is you have to define who is your moose. Okay, in my book, our target market is the moose. Who is your moose? What are you doing to either solve a problem for that moose or helping them be more successful? What is it that you do for that moose that only you can do and nobody else can do? All right. And to me, that is the purpose. And then I say, okay, what do we have to do to help them achieve that purpose? So I'm a, and I don't think you've even read my book yet, Michelle, which is no problem. It's no problem. You are early in the game here. Okay. But the thing that you're going to find interesting about it is that it is 98% one syllable words. Because that's the way I think, the way I talk, and the way I work with my clients. I keep things as basic as possible. But this is how I see it. I also subscribe to the philosophy, there are many roads to the top of the mountain. Mm-hmm. And this is my road. Okay. And I'm only looking for people who want to go with me on my road. You guys, that's what I love about having you guys, is to share your roads. So, to me, and I'm going to get ready to throw this right back to Mr. Voice again. I'm sorry. Shouldn't I be calling you Grandpa Voice?
Yes.
Okay.
I am also a grandfather.
Grandpa Voice.
Youngest grandfather ever. In the history.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want people to just say to me, okay, why does this company exist? And who are you helping? Okay. And that to me is that's the big thing up in the sky, the 40,000 foot question. And then everything that you start, and when you start to drill down, it's all about how do we accomplish that? Mm-hmm. And where everybody sees it, everybody agrees, and we are walking our talk, and we're putting that all together, but I think that the problem I see with too many companies is they make it too complicated. And as a result, I mean, they think strategy is, bottom line is, most companies think strategy is complicated, and they think tactics is easy.
So here's what I just discerned. I know that's a complicated word, but
it's only one word, though. It's not two words put together that you.
No, it's not, but it is two syllables. I just figured out that your solid piece of advice about our topic today is that, hey, there should be no problem doing strategy and tactics simultaneously if you can just simplify your strategy. Ooh, don't overthink it, right? Instead of making it a 3-month process, why don't you make it a 3-hour process?
Yeah, don't go.
How about that?
Don't go paying some company that's just initials. DL7, QB.com, or whatever they are, and pay them $200,000.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Even if they did just spin off from their accounting, business, They're,
it's
a lot of money.
Being
it's a lot of money for a really thick, report that you can't even implement, and there's dust on the credenza. So keep it simple. That's a great piece of advice. Keep it simple, so that you can do it. So then I've got another one. So one is simple. You've said simplify strategy. That's extremely solid. I guess I'll plus that, which is simplify the tactics too. I mean, if they're overwhelming you, the Pareto principle, I know you love that.
And I do. I am an 80-20 guy.
80-20. Why, help, just decide what's really vital. So, what business are you in? And then what is really vital? Period. Yeah. And then you can do them both simultaneously. You can do stratacution.
So, Michelle, what Dave just did is, and this is what we do, is when one of us comes up with an idea and shares our idea, the other one is challenged to plus it.
Okay.
How do you add to it?
So now it's your turn.
How do I add to those two things?
Yeah.
Sure. Wow. Yeah.
How would you make them better?
Yeah.
Smarter, easier, quicker.
Or if you have your own new solid thing, then we can plus that. So
I would say then keep your metrics for your evaluation simple too. Like you set your goals in such a way so that you can actually pull.
That is so good. That is so good. So let me put this in a nutshell here. Okay, I'm saying, if you can't tell me what your purpose is in 2 sentences, this is our moose, and here's what we do for them. Okay, and then everything down below that is about creating products, services to fix those things, and then our communications, which are the marketing tactics, and to go to both of you, is that too many companies try to do too many things.
Correct.
Yes. Preach.
They want to do all of the social media, and as I said to you, Dave, and Michelle, I said one idea that I had about topics on our podcast is the difference between the value of online versus offline marketing as it is today, because there are a lot of companies out there right now who are just freaking digital companies.
Yeah.
And they are promoting digital. Digital. They're saying to people, don't spend any money offline.
Yeah. When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. That's too bad.
Yeah. So it was
and you know who and those of you who are watching this, you know who I'm talking to.
Yeah. So keep your strategy simple, ridiculously simple. Keep your tactics ridiculously simple, and keep your metrics ridiculously simple.
I think that and the metrics thing is also very cool because that's where marketers really show their stupidity. Because they make up these stupid metrics. And what I always say is, any marketer who cannot prove that what their plan connects to money, mm-hmm. If they cannot prove it, they make up metrics to give some kind of value. But it's all fun. It's funny money.
Right. Like we've improved our website visits by 75% or 100% or 200%, and we need a gold star. Well, what's the result of that?
Basically, if you haven't turned your marketing department at this point from a cost center to a revenue center, you're like way out of the game. You're way behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Michelle, do you really believe, what percentage of marketers do you think do that?
A lot more than you'd think. I mean, if you think about the fact that we've only been able to play the digital game for the last 15 years or so. Everything prior to that was all traditional advertising. You put up a billboard and you hoped people saw it and you hoped that they came to you as a result. You put an ad in the yellow pages. You did these things and you couldn't necessarily track unless you put a special offer on a postcard. You couldn't track which areas you were actually generating ROI on your investments. Now we can do that as marketers, and there's so many tools and resources to do that. So I unfortunately still think it's more common than you think, because sometimes it is hard to get these metrics. It can be tough sometimes to say what's
okay. I want to be clear. When you say it's more common, what is more common?
More common that some of these metrics are not clearly tracked, because marketing is not done in a silo. So marketing metrics you have to usually get from multiple places. We can go get our digital.
Right. So you're not saying that you think that there's a lot of, an overwhelming amount of marketing departments that are cost centers, like you say, but there should be more.
No, not cost centers. They got to be result ROI.
Well,
centers.
ROI. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm revenue generating. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I just want to make sure we're real clear about this. Yeah. And if you disagree with me, I don't have any issues with that. I'll just I just kick you off the Zoom. No, I'm not going to do that. No, many roads to the top of the mountain. I want to hear this stuff if you don't agree with me. But see, I believe 100%. It just makes me nuts when I listen to marketers or I watch marketing posts on LinkedIn or something like that, and they're talking about stuff that is complete trash. It sounds really nice. It sounds very pretty, but it does not connect to revenue. It's some, it's something far, far away. I remember there was this great cartoon in the New Yorker years ago, and it was a scientist, and he had this big blackboard. You know how they have like some really totally complicated equation, right? Completely filling the blackboard. And in the center of the blackboard, there was this one spot. And it said, and a miracle happens here. Okay. People like it, and his buddy's going, I think you're going to have a problem with this equation, and it's like that's what these guys, that's what so many marketers are doing today. And that's why, like we were talking earlier, about a company will come in and they'll put together this, 250 page strategic plan, to air quotes there, that is impossible to follow and impossible to justify.
Yeah, great point. I've got another idea. to lob into the conversation, and I don't know if you would agree with this or not, but Michelle, you mentioned EOS, which is part of Traction that a lot of companies use for their.
One thing we have to be careful of are acronyms, so make sure we share. Because I had some, I don't know if you saw the emails. I had somebody wanted to have somebody on here to talk about SaaS. And I said,
really?
I said,
software
I guarantee
as a service.
Yeah, I said, I guarantee you that 95% of our viewers have no clue what SaaS is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's not their world. It's machine. We're in manufacturing. Okay, so tell people what EOS is.
EOS. It's so common an acronym that I'm going to have to look it up. Fill this time, Michelle.
Isn't it Entrepreneur Operating System? I believe
something like that. Yeah.
It's something along those lines. Yeah.
I'm sure it's here. What did you say that it was?
Entrepreneur Operating System.
That must be it.
Everybody.
Yes, that is it. That is it.
Everybody owes Steve.
Yeah, it's called Traction. I'm holding the book up for anyone. Anyhow, the whole point of my comment was the fact that in this methodology, which is a good one, people are held excruciatingly responsible for certain tasks. They're owners of different tasks.
I love that term. I mean,
yes,
excruciatingly responsible.
There's no question as to who owns what. And so how about this? If a company, if you are listening and you're having problems doing both strategy and tactics simultaneously for marketing and sales, assign the strategy part to someone else, not the same person that's responsible for doing the tactics.
Oh yeah, no, you shouldn't.
Right? It seems obvious, except the issue that we face all the time and that we see is that the same person in the company is responsible for both. Don't do that.
Yeah.
So even if you have to give the CEO the responsibility for even the marketing strategy, if it's a small company, that's better than giving it to, say, the marketing manager and saying, okay, all this stuff that you're supposed to be doing on a day-to-day basis, keep doing that. And then also, can you do this strategy for us? And so separate the roles. That's my idea.
Separate the roles.
Yes.
Michelle.
Yeah, I agree with that, because if you don't do that, then to Dave's point, the same person that's coming up with the plan is also doing the tactics, but all things are equal until the plan is developed. So it's important to come up with it.
Well,
Definitely. We can't hear you anymore, Steve.
Oh, you can't,
we can barely see you.
I'm sorry.
Leaning back.
You were thinking. I know. I could tell, Steve.
I'm thinking. I'm back here.
He was just absorbing this brilliance.
Yeah. I love connecting the dots. I see when I talk about like marketing and branding and stuff like that. Okay. For years, if we think about like sales, for example, the sales department. Well, sales and revenue have a solid line. You make a sale, there's a solid line to revenue. Okay. Marketing for years has had dotted lines. Okay. We sort of connect over here and then sort of connect over here, sort of connect over here. And my whole shtick for all these years has been marketing needs a solid line. And we have to prove. And I've got webinars, I've done speeches, everything I got showing people this is how you do it. This is how you prove.
How you create the solid line.
How you create the solid line. This is how you do it. And
how do you do it?
Well, it's just like playing golf.
You just swing.
You know what?
Swing and hit the ball.
We have been talking for a long time, and I think we're gonna have to leave this as a cliffhanger.
Yeah, because
this is a
people don't know that Steve knows how to play golf really well.
Yeah, and I famously I'm a Tedster, a real Tedster. I know you don't meet very many of them very often, but I'm a real Tedster. The TED conference every year, which has 1,000 people at it. Okay. I snuck into that thing back in 2006. I'm convinced that they actually thought I was the rock star Steve Miller, which is why they invited me to join. So I like to say that it is 999 of the smartest, most successful, most innovative people on the planet, and Steve. And they invited me to come and talk about how to play golf back in 2007.
Interesting.
And the title of my talk was How Tiger Woods Plays Golf. And so I spoke there and gave my talk. And then they decided, and right after the 2007 conference was when they decided to start putting put the talks on video. Right up until then, they had never had a talk on video.
So is yours on video?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Kay and I are out in the middle of the Mediterranean and I can't remember what anniversary it was. It was like 20th or something like that. And they emailed me on this cruise ship, and they said, we're going to start putting these videos out online. Is that okay with you? And I said, yeah, sure. Are you kidding me? Of course. Go for it, right? And so they put How to Think Like Tiger Woods online. It did very, very well right up to the moment that Tiger Woods crashed his car and got caught in the scandal of out there sleeping with all these different women. And the TED people, they said, I don't think this really fits with our philosophy.
Oh, shoot. They took it down.
And so they took it down. So
darn. Well, this is a cliffhanger because we have to hear what this might be, because you've said that this is the way.
I can't tell you how good it is
to write this, to create a straight line for marketing.
I will show you exactly how to create a straight line between marketing and revenue.
Marketing and revenue. Interesting.
Is that okay with you, Michelle? If we do that next time?
Absolutely. That sounds great.
All right. So
we don't want to overdo each of these sessions, so we keep them
we're killing it. We're way over right now, but I mean, see, this is great stuff. And also, gosh, thank you so much for plussing my concept of basic strategy.
Mm-hmm. Keep it simple.
Oh my gosh, you guys, yeah, why didn't I think of that?
Simple.
Why did I think of that? I know why. Because I'm old.
No. It takes a village. That's what it is. It takes a small village.
I heard a squirrel. Anyway, shiny object.
Okay, so I'm going to take us out.
Take us out.
Folks, you have been listening to the famous, world famous B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast with Steve Miller, not the rock star. He's also has a lot of other titles, and myself, Dave Loomis, also known as The Voice, apparently, and Michelle Jones.
Michelle,
who needs a nickname.
Fiddler Jones.
I'm going to think of a different one. We're going to think of a different one.
Jones. Whatever.
We're going to come up with a new one by next time.
I actually
thanks, everybody.
People call you MJ?
Not yet, but they could. It was MM for 30
It was MM, and now it's MJ. Okay, we're going to
MJ, isn't that Spider-Man?
It's Michael Jordan. MJ. In my book. But that's a whole nother thing, because I did a TED Talk, you didn't know this, on how Michael Jordan thinks.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah,
I cannot wait to hear about it.
I got to record that soon. Okay, talk to you all later, and if you like us, subscribe, tell others, and I will work on promoting this more, because that's been suggested to me.
I'm really hoping that the addition of Michelle, because Kay is going to be she's going to start once she gets better. She is knocking it out of the park on the bestseller list. So
fantastic! That's great news. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, the source for B2B marketing and sales insight. If you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and leave these old guys a 5-star rating. Check the show notes for any links and contact information. You can always contact us by going to b2bmarketingsalespodcast.com. Thank you, and keep on marketing, keep on selling.